Well, school's out for summer, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're done with everything. Today on the show, we have Sherry Baber, who of course is the preschool coordinator for Hager Preschool. Sherry, thanks for coming on today.
Glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Like I said, school's out, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're done here. We've got some busy things going on this summer that you need to be ready for. What's one of the big things?
Well, the big concern we have at this time is school being out, and we're afraid parents won't understand the urgency of getting to Hager to get their preschool registration complete. The legislative session changed some of the preschool laws this year unexpectedly. It was kind of a last-minute effort. And if the child is only 3 years old, we will not be able to enroll them at all for the 2014-2015 school year unless they do their registration prior to July 1, which is, we've never had that date line before. We've never had that deadline. So we're very concerned about that. We want to get the word out to our parents so that they realize the urgency of coming in during June, getting those last items turned in for registration so that their children are ready to run come August for preschool.
If I'm a parent, I hear this message, what do I specifically need to do?
The first thing you need to do is contact Hager by calling 270-686-1125. Linda Knott is working all summer. She's the family advocate that does work through the summer, as well as Tanya Millay, April Barker, and Shauna Gant will be working during some days during the summer, due only because of the deadline change. They have amended their summer schedule to be in the building to be able to help parents and to address this need. Many of our parents began the registration process back in March and April when Owensboro Public Schools had their kindergarten and preschool registration. However, they let the time lag and don't feel the urgency to get any additional enrollment items and requirements completed until sometimes August. And this year, if they're a 4-year-old, they will still be able to enroll anytime because they will be income eligible, and the law did not change the process for a 4-year-old. However, if they are 3 years old and their file is not totally complete and they're not enrolled in the system, by July 1 of 2014, we will not be able to enroll them this entire school year unless they have a identified disability of some type. And if they have a disability at 3 years old, we can enroll them at any time.
Who can do Hager? Who's eligible?
Any family that qualifies by Head Start income guidelines as a 3-year-old will qualify as long as they're enrolled before July 1, 2014. Any child with as a 3-year-old with a disability is eligible to attend preschool, and then any child that qualifies by 4-year-old income eligible guidelines qualifies by being a CARA child through the Kentucky Department of Ed funding. And then if they're 4 years, 3 or 4, they also would qualify with a disability. A 4-year-old would as well.
And parents, they come to Hager. What do they need to bring? I see kind of a list here we have.
There is a list, and the thing that we're trying to get the word out, we've been walking neighborhoods and leaving door hangers on doorknobs. We have sent letters to parents that have started the process. However, if they've moved, it may not have been forwarded. So they may have started the registration process back in February and March and April. But the items that must be in before that July 1 deadline is a copy of the birth certificate, and it must be a certified birth certificate that we get from Frankfurt. We have the form on file at Hager. You can complete the form at school and with a $10 money order or certified check, and we can let you fill the form out. The family advocate will mail that for you. We will keep get the original back to Hager. They will make a copy of it. The parent will always get the original, and then we will just have a copy on file. That's very important because in kindergarten registration, they're required to have that same birth certificate. So we will transfer that file with that same birth certificate that is a certified birth certificate to the school system and to kindergarten, wherever you should go. We need a proof of family income. Because Hager is established on income eligibility, you must bring some type of proof of income. That can be an SSI form, it could be your KTAP letter, it could be some letter from child support, it could be W-2 forms, or it could be a pay stub. We're glad to have any of those. We do not maintain that on file, but we have to have it for income eligibility just to show the family advocate that you qualify for our program. We would like to have a copy of the child's Social Security card. However, that is optional. But if you have that, it is very helpful to have that information. We also need a copy of your child's medical card, K-CHIP card, or if you have private insurance, the private insurance card, we need a copy of that. We must have a up-to-date immunization record from your child's pediatrician or the health department, as well as a Kentucky school physical current with your physician or the health department. When you go to your doctor's office or to the health department, please ask them to put that current immunization and physical form on a Kentucky school form, and those forms are available at the pediatrician's office or at the health department. We also have to have a lead test result. That is very, very important to the health of your child. If you have ever had WIC, you may sign a form at Hager that will allow the health department to release the lead test information to us, and therefore your child would not have to have the lead test again. But if you have not been on WIC, then you would need to ask the health department or your pediatrician for a lead test. We're required to have that according to the federal Head Start standards. And then Kentucky requires that every child have a Kentucky vision exam, and that must be done by a eye doctor. It cannot just be an eye screening that your pediatrician does. It must be done by an ophthalmologist or an optometrician. And you can call and get an appointment for that right away. I know some of you feel that your child is very young, may not have a lot of language, and how can they test the vision? But they deal with those children every day, and they'll be glad to work with you and help you in any way possible to get that accomplished. If not, if for some reason they couldn't complete it, they would give us something saying that you had been there and that they would reschedule you in 6 months or whatever. So that still would get you enrolled in the process.
And again, let's touch on who should you call if you have any questions.
I would call Hager Preschool. Linda Knott is there every day. The other advocates will be in and out on assigned days so that there's always more than one there. But Linda will help schedule an appointment for you. The number is 270-686-1125. And if you have already started the registration process and you just need to deliver some of the items to complete your child's file, you do not need to call for an appointment, but you can stop by the school between 8 and 3, Monday through Friday, and Linda will be glad to take those items to help complete your child's enrollment file. Because Hager does have a very strong reputation, we are NAEYC accredited.
Talk about that a little bit, Sherry. I think some people might not know. I know you were talking to me a little bit before that.
It is the National Early Childhood Association, and it is the highest accreditation process in the United States. We maintain that by choice because we have our standards very, very high in our program. We strive for excellence each and every day. All of our teachers have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. All of our teacher assistants have a minimum of a child development associate. So our staff is highly qualified. We have 12 classrooms. One classroom will be at Estes this year because of space. And so the families that reside in the Estes area will have an option, and we will encourage them to go to Estes.
That's a two-way street there. It's nice that you all are so crowded because of that education, that quality education you're providing, and then some people can go right
to their home elementary school. We've had several classes at Faust the last couple of years because of space and overcrowding at Hager, but those, of course, were adjoined with us. Our buildings are side by side. But this year, Faust needed more space, and so we have a classroom that's going to be at Estes. And they will have 20 children in the AM session, 20 children in the PM session, And so they are going to take 4-year-olds first, of course, but the enrollment process still goes on through Hager. You would still enroll at Hager, go through the process with our family advocates. Our family events will still be the same. You'll be a part of Hager as well as get to have the opportunity to be a part of Estes as well.
Is that, you said that's new this year?
This is starting this year in August will be the first time. So we're very excited. We have a lot of parents that have heard about it, and they have a kindergartner going to Estes or a third grader, and they're excited their preschooler will get to be at Estes as well. We have some that are going to have a 3-year-old at Hager, so they want their 4-year-old to go to Hager as well, and the school system has worked out that that will work as well. That's not a problem. So we want to be as accommodating as possible, but we do want to encourage 4-year-olds that will go to kindergarten at Estes to have their 4-year-old year there this year, because we feel like it'll be a real benefit to them to become familiar with the school, the staff, and the surroundings in that building. But back to the tuition. We do take tuition children, and like I say, that's been a big hit across the district. We've had some out-of-district children pay tuition this year. We are very fortunate that our Board of Education chose to establish a sliding fee scale. The tuition is $50 non-refundable registration for all families, and after that, according to your income eligibility. If you did not qualify for the free program at Hager, then you might qualify for a lesser rate tuition. The tuition fee is $175 per month, and many families do qualify for that rate. However, in the last couple of years, we have a lot of families that have kind of fallen in between free and the full tuition amount, so their tuition rate has been $80 a month. And so the Board of Education was very empathetic with our families at establishing that guideline, because I think some other school districts do not provide the sliding fee scale. Right. So I think it's a real benefit to our families in our district that we have that. And so many of our families that qualify for tuition don't have to pay the full amount, but they do qualify for $80 or even some of them less.
Kind of a new question. I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball at you. We have a lot of Spanish-speaking families now. Mm-hmm. Is this an opportunity for them as well at Hager Preschool?
We have a lot of our Burmese families and Hispanic families now. I'm so glad you brought that up. Sure. That is not anything we had talked about. But today we are going to, well, we always plan it, but I'm going to send an email out today. We will have our, and I'm trying to think, Hispanic Enrollment and Registration Day on June 19th. We will have translators there. We will do our enrollment process. We'll do our student screening process that day. And we also will do our parent orientation while we have the translators there with us. So we'll do all of that on June 19th between 8 and 12. The day we're going to do our Burmese families is June 30th, and we'll do the same thing. It'll start at 8 o'clock. We'll bring the children in. We'll do the screening for the children. We will do the enrollment files for the children, and we also will do the parent orientation while we have the translators with us. And we work with the International Center to schedule that. Sure. I know Sister Fran is working with us on helping us gather our Hispanic families. We've already got some that have come in, and we've had a pretty strong Hispanic and Burmese population at Hager in the last couple of years, but we always want to continue to build on that. So anyway, that is a big thing, and I'm really glad you asked. But be sure and spread the word for us through this communication on Channel 73 that any Hispanic family that lives within our community is eligible, and they should show up at Hager at 8 o'clock on the 19th of June. Please bring as many of these items as possible: the birth certificate, proof of income, the Social Security card of the child, if they have a medical card, insurance card or K-CHIP card, the physical or lead test, the immunization record, and they must schedule and get an eye exam. So we can work with you, but the only problem is, due to the law changing, if the child does happen to be 3 years old, these will have to be turned in by July 1. But if they can come the 19th, we'll take what they have and we'll make a list of the things they need to continue to get. And then the Burmese families, we feel like many times they have all of those items organized and together as they have traveled into our country. Absolutely. Or come from another larger community to Owensboro. So we're doing them on June 30th, and if they can bring as many items with them, and if the community understands this message and can share that. We want as many of our families to show up on those days as possible, because we will be prepared at Hager to accommodate their enrollment process at that time.
Why go to preschool?
There is such a high expectation this day and age in our current society for student progress and success from kindergarten through grade 12 and far beyond. We want all of our children in our school system, as well as in our state and in our community, to be college to career ready. They've got to have a strong foundation. They must have those preschool standards and those preschool learning concepts that we introduce, whether it be in math by playing with manipulatives and all the different things. They learn their shapes, their colors, they're learning their alphabet, they're learning their larger case, lowercase letters, they're learning to write their name. When they get into kindergarten, if they have not been to preschool, they're already starting out in a disadvantage. Our kindergarten principals and elementary principals tell us that they definitely know the day the child walks in, if they've been in a preschool environment or they have not. So we definitely want to provide every child the opportunity to go to preschool, to give them the best possible option to be successful in kindergarten and beyond.
Well, Sherry, I mean, we've covered a lot of things today. Why don't we go ahead and share questions one more time? If families at home have questions for you guys, who do they need to contact?
They can contact Linda Knott. She works all summer at 270-686-1125. I'm in and out a lot during the summer. I know we have different meetings here at Central Office. I work closely with Head Start. We have lots of meetings there. But Linda is pretty consistently there every day. You're welcome to call us at any time. But that number again is 270-686-1125. Linda is super to work with. She's extremely knowledgeable of our program. She has every file that has come in to start for this next school year, whether you enrolled and began the application with Tanya or April or Shauna. Linda has all of their files, and then like I said previously, they will all three be in and out during the summer to help with the enrollment process due to the fact of the new change in dates, and we just want to be sure we can get our families accommodated in order to get every possible 3-year-old enrolled that we can.
Sure. Well, I guess that about covers it for our information on preschool. Hopefully a lot of people come out.
I hope. We really wanted to do this today because we really do want to get that information out, and we feel like it's critical, and it is something that we have no control over, but when the laws change, if the application is not completed, it will be out of our hands. We will not be able to enroll that child, unfortunately.
Well, there you have it. Again, if you have a 3- or 4-year-old, make sure you get them enrolled before July 1st. We want to make sure we get all the kids taken care of at OPS.
Exactly right. But we're excited and we want to have them. So we currently have only about 200 enrolled. Typically, we have over 400 children a year, so we have a lot of enrollments to complete. So please come out and get your child enrolled.
Looks like we're going to have a busy summer here at OPS. Thanks for coming on the show today, Sherry.
Thank you so much for having us.
Letting people know. For OPS, I'm Dave Kirk. Thanks for watching.